Fact 1. The black and white battle.
In conclusion, it should be noted, give him an extra dollar.
In 1974, color films ruled Hollywood. When Brooks insisted on black and white to honor the original Frankenstein films, studio executives panicked. They offered him more money, bigger promotions, even star billing. When that failed, they tried sneaky tactics, bringing color film stock to set and claiming it was backup. Brooks caught them red-handed and exploded. He threatened to walk away from the entire project unless they respected his artistic vision. The studio finally caved, terrified of losing their investment. That black and white decision became the film's defining visual signature, proving Brooks' instincts were perfect. Fact 2. The scene that almost disappeared.
Well, why isn't it Frederick Frankenstein?
It isn't. It's Frederick Frankenstein.
Mel Brooks watched the dailies and cringed. The monster tap dancing felt too Broadway, too weird for a Frankenstein parody. He marched into the editing room, scissors ready to cut the entire sequence. Gene Wilder intercepted him at the door, blocking his path like a bodyguard. "This is the heart of the movie," Wilder argued, refusing to move. They argued for hours until Brooks reluctantly agreed to test it with audiences. The scene got the biggest laughs in every screening. Today, it's the most iconic moment in the film, proving sometimes the weirdest ideas are actually genius. Fact 3. The mystery of the moving hump.
Perhaps I could help you with that hump.
What hump?
Between takes, Feldman would sneak behind the set and switch Igor's hump from his left shoulder to his right, then back again. He never told the director, the continuity supervisor, or fellow actors. Cast members started noticing during lunch breaks but kept quiet, thinking it was hilarious. The editing team discovered the mistake months later during post-production. By then, it was too expensive to reshoot or digitally fix. Brooks decided to leave it in as Feldman's personal Easter egg. Sharp-eyed fans still hunt for hump-switching scenes today, making it an unintentional treasure hunt. Fact 4. The director's hidden performance.
I am Frau Blucher.
Brooks loved inserting himself into his films, but Wilder put his foot down. "Your face will break the mood," he argued, worried Brooks' comedic persona would shatter the gothic atmosphere. Brooks sulked for days until he found a loophole. He snuck into the sound booth during post-production and recorded every animal noise in the film: howling wolves, screeching cats, train whistles, even distant thunder. His voice became the unseen narrator of nature itself. Cast members only discovered this during the premiere, hearing Brooks' unmistakable growls and yelps throughout key scenes. It became his most creative cameo ever. Fact 5. The melting monster crisis.
What's the matter? Quick, give him the...
The latex and industrial glue couldn't handle the blazing studio lights. During emotional scenes, Boyle's face would start sagging like melted wax. Makeup artists would rush in with blow dryers and emergency touch-ups between takes. In one scene, his forehead completely detached and slid down his nose. Instead of stopping production, Brooks incorporated the chaos into the character. "The monster is decomposing," he shouted, treating it like intentional special effects. Boyle spent entire days in makeup chairs getting rebuilt. The crew nicknamed him Meltdown Monster, a title he wore proudly during the rap party. Fact 6. The day the set became a swimming pool.
Could be raining.
Brooks demanded practical effects for the laboratory storm scenes: real water, industrial fans, and electrical sparks. The special effects team built an elaborate rain system above the set. During filming, the water pressure malfunctioned, unleashing a torrential downpour that flooded everything. Actors waded through ankle-deep water while delivering lines. Electrical equipment sparked dangerously close to the soaked cast. Production assistants formed bucket brigades to save expensive cameras. The crew spent 3 days mopping and drying equipment. Brooks kept the scene in the final cut, calling it authentic mad scientist chaos. Fact 7. Gene Hackman's comedy experiment.
Have a little kindness from a stranger. Are you ready for your soup?
A tennis game conversation created one of cinema's greatest cameos. Gene Hackman cornered Gene Wilder during their weekly tennis match, begging for a chance at comedy. Known for intense dramas, Hackman felt typecast and desperate to prove his range. Wilder mentioned the blind hermit scene, originally written for an unknown actor. Hackman's eyes lit up. "I'll do it for free," he pleaded. His performance became legendary, accidentally setting his guest on fire, pouring soup on his thumb, creating beautiful chaos in 5 minutes. The scene showcased Hackman's hidden comedic genius and became every actor's dream cameo. It proved dramatic actors often make the best comedians. Fact 8. Stealing from Frankenstein history.
On the nosy!
They committed the ultimate movie heist, and Universal helped them do it. Production designer Dale Hennessy became obsessed with authenticity. He tracked down Kenneth Strickfaden, the original 1931 Frankenstein's electrical effects wizard. Strickfaden had stored his incredible laboratory equipment in his garage for 43 years. Tesla coils, electrical conductors, sparking machines, all original 1931 props gathering dust. Universal Pictures gave permission to borrow everything. The equipment still worked perfectly, creating the same electrical magic from 4 decades earlier. Using actual Frankenstein props gave the film an authentic, gothic atmosphere that no modern recreation could match. Cinema history literally powered the movie's most iconic scenes. Fact 9. The title that almost wasn't.
How do you do?
This is my financier, Elizabeth.
Studio executives hated the title so much, they tried to change it behind Gene Wilder's back. Young Frankenstein made marketing executives nervous. They wanted something safer, more commercial. Secret memos circulated proposing Frankenstein Returns or Son of Frankenstein, the comedy. They even designed promotional materials with alternate titles. Wilder discovered the scheme during a routine production meeting. He exploded, threatening to quit immediately unless the original title remained. "The title is the soul of the movie," he argued passionately. Brooks backed him completely. The studio eventually surrendered, admitting they had no replacement for Wilder's irreplaceable performance. The problematic title became an iconic brand that's lasted 50 years. Fact 10. The joke that inspired rock history.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you?
Walk This Way may have accidentally created an Aerosmith classic. When Igor tells guests to walk this way while limping dramatically, it seemed like simple physical comedy. But Steven Tyler and Joe Perry reportedly saw the film during its original run. They loved the phrase's rhythm and cadence. 2 years later, Aerosmith released Walk This Way, which became their biggest hit and a rock anthem. The band never officially confirmed the connection, but the timing seems suspicious. Brooks' throwaway gag may have accidentally influenced one of rock's greatest songs. It's the ultimate example of how comedy can ripple through popular culture in unexpected ways. Fact 11. The line that almost broke the rating.
Would you want me like this now?
Elizabeth's post-encounter gasp nearly earned the film an R rating. Madeline Kahn's breathless, "Oh, sweet mystery of life, at last I found you," after her encounter with the monster, sent ratings board members into panic mode. They debated for hours whether the obvious sexual implication violated PG standards. Brooks argued it was classic musical theater, not explicit content. The ratings board demanded cuts or faced an R rating that would destroy box office potential. Brooks refused to trim a single word. After weeks of negotiations, they compromised. The line stayed, but promotional materials couldn't emphasize the sexual humor. The scandalous moment became one of the film's most quoted lines. Fact 12. The name that terrified horses.
Follow me, please.
Frau Blücher's horse-scaring power came from Mel Brooks's childhood trauma. Every time someone mentioned Frau Blücher, horses would rear up and neigh in terror. Brooks claimed the gag originated from his Brooklyn childhood. A terrifying German woman named Mrs. Blücher lived in his neighborhood, frightening every kid for blocks. Even dogs would cross the street to avoid her. Brooks swore she had supernatural powers over animals. Whether true or exaggerated, the name carried genuine fear in Brooks's memory. Cloris Leachman's performance channeled that childhood terror, creating a character so authentically frightening that even fictional horses recoiled. The personal backstory gave the running gag emotional weight that pure comedy couldn't achieve. Fact 13. The funeral that never happened.
What a filthy job.
The cast held a mock funeral for characters they'd grown to love. On the final day of shooting, the cast spontaneously organized a candlelit ceremony on set. They buried their characters in an emotional farewell that nobody planned. Gene Wilder delivered a eulogy for Frederick Frankenstein. Marty Feldman sang a Yiddish song for Igor. Cloris Leachman performed a creepy Germanic prayer for Frau Blücher. Even Peter Boyle, still in partial monster makeup, growled a touching goodbye. Mel Brooks filmed the entire ceremony, calling it the most beautiful moment of production. The footage was never released, existing only in Brooks' private archives. Cast members still call it their most treasured memory from filming. Fact 14. Mel Brooks' secret fashion statement.
I understand. Why are you shouting?
The director stole the monster's boots and wore them to Hollywood parties. Peter Boyle's massive monster boots fascinated Mel Brooks. Standing barely 5'5", Brooks envied their intimidating height and presence. After filming Wrapped, he secretly kept the boots, wearing them to industry events and parties. Guests would hear him clomping through Beverly Hills gatherings like Frankenstein's monster. The boots added 6 inches to his height and gave him confidence during studio negotiations. He wore them to the film's premiere, creating confusion when photographers couldn't understand his sudden height increase. Brooks kept the boots for years, claiming they were his power shoes for important meetings. Fact 15. The audience that believed
It's alive!
older moviegoers thought they were watching a genuine Lost Frankenstein film. The black and white cinematography and authentic 1930s production design fooled audiences over 60. Many believed they were watching a newly discovered Universal monster movie from the Golden Age. Theater managers fielded confused phone calls from elderly patrons asking about the film's original release date. Some demanded refunds, feeling tricked by the fake advertising. Others thanked theaters for finding a lost classic they remembered from childhood. The confusion delighted Brooks, who considered it the ultimate compliment to his craftsmanship. Modern audiences can barely imagine mistaking comedy for authentic horror, but 1970s viewers found the illusion completely convincing. Fact 16. The marketing disaster that became a Triumph studio.
What the hell are you doing in the bathroom day and night?
Executives gave the film minimal promotion and accidentally created a word-of-mouth phenomenon. Convinced the black and white comedy would flop, executives allocated a tiny marketing budget. No television commercials, limited print ads, and small theater releases in secondary markets. They expected quiet failure and quick disappearance from theaters. Instead, audiences discovered the film organically, telling friends and family about the hidden gem they'd stumbled upon. Word-of-mouth marketing proved more powerful than any advertising campaign. Lines formed around theaters as people demanded to see the secret Mel Brooks masterpiece. The film outgrossed major blockbusters. Despite its microscopic promotion, it became the ultimate proof that great content doesn't need expensive marketing. Fact 17. The film that joined cinema history. In 2003, Young Frankenstein earned a place in the National Film Registry. The Library of Congress selected the film for preservation as culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. This honor is typically reserved for serious dramas, documentaries, or groundbreaking technical achievements. Comedy rarely receives such prestigious recognition. The selection committee praised its perfect parody technique and cultural impact on American humor. Brooks cried during the announcement ceremony, calling it validation of comedy's artistic value. The film joined classics like Citizen Kane and Casablanca in America's most important movie collection. It proved that laughter deserves the same respect as tears in cinema history. The honor elevated comedy's status in academic film studies. Fact 18. The cutting room floor confessions.
Oh, Dr. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
For every joke that made audiences laugh, 3 others died in editing. Mel Brooks shot nearly 5 hours of material, knowing most would never see theaters. Test screenings revealed brutal truths about comedy timing. Scenes that killed during filming fell flat with audiences. Brooks ruthlessly cut beloved moments that didn't serve the story. Entire subplots disappeared, including Igor's romantic interest and additional monster encounters. The editing process took 8 months, as Brooks fine-tuned every comedic beat. He kept deleted scenes in his personal vault, occasionally screening them for friends. The final film represents only 40% of what they actually shot. Brooks called it killing your darlings for the greater good. Fact 19. Feldman's improvisation chaos.
I ain't got no body.
Feldman's constant improvisation drove Mel Brooks to the edge of madness. Every take brought new surprises. Feldman would change his accent mid-sentence, add physical gags, or completely rewrite dialogue on the spot. Brooks tried directing him with specific instructions, but Feldman ignored every direction. "Marty, just say the line," Brooks would plead. Feldman would nod seriously, then deliver something completely different. Initially furious, Brooks eventually realized Feldman's instincts were comedy gold. Most of Igor's funniest moments were pure improvisation. Brooks learned to roll with the chaos, setting up multiple cameras to catch whatever Feldman might do. The experience taught Brooks that sometimes the best direction is no direction at all. Fact 20. Leachman's scene stealing power.
Victor, we have done it.
Leachman's performance was so hilariously creepy that she broke every scene. Her eerie, measured delivery of normal dialogue made the entire cast crack up uncontrollably. During serious exposition scenes, Leachman would speak like a horror movie villain describing grocery shopping. Gene Wilder couldn't maintain composure during their scenes together. Marty Feldman would hide behind props to muffle his laughter. Even crew members had to leave the set to avoid ruining takes. Brooks eventually edited around the constant laughter, using reaction shots and cutaways to hide everyone's broken faces. Leachman's ability to make mundane dialogue sound terrifying became the film's secret weapon. Her performance proved that great comedy often comes from playing everything completely seriously.